Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Yelena from Amazonia PPC, and this is the second video about keyword research. The first video I did last week was more about the mindset, about looking at your products differently, getting to know the narrative of your audience, how they would type in, what kind of searches they would type in to find your product, etc. And this other video is more like methods, actual methods that we use to find creative ways in which we use to find the right keywords for your account. So I'll share a couple of ideas. I hope that you will find them useful, and stay tuned. So the first way, last week I explained the magnet keyword research tool, how you should use it. And this week we're going to focus more on the Cerebra reverse ASIN lookup tool. I have extracted this random, it's a random listing from Amazon, and used ASIN to do reverse ASIN lookup for this product. Originally, when someone gives us, like, for example, we have a client that knows their competitive landscape very well, and then they give us like a couple of ASINs that we could use to target the same keywords that their competitors are doing. That's like a very straightforward way, and a lot of people can do that. But what we actually do when we're trying to find the most profitable keywords is sorting them out by match type. Here there's in the reverse ASIN tool, there's a filter called match type. You have organic, sponsored, and Amazon recommended. Ideally, we only filter out the download the organic ones without even looking at sponsored or Amazon recommended, because this is the amount of keywords and exact keywords in their search volumes that your competitors are ranking for organically. So this could mean that they haven't thought of using these keywords at all, or they're not bidding on them yet. So that's your that's your best chance to get profitable keywords, because you don't have to bid on them so high. Of course, if you're after ranking, if you're after growth in your account, then obviously you're going to have to invest a little more money into ranking for and bidding for the same keywords your competitors are bidding from. But when it comes to this organic ranking, so here we have some basically we have a list, and you have 3 columns here. One of them is Amazon recommended, the other one is sponsored, and the third one is organic. 0 and 1 means that if it's a 0, it's not, for example, it's not Amazon recommended. If it's a 1, then it is. So basically what we want to do is only filter out the sponsored results, which means we want to filter out the ones that your competitor isn't paying for. So ideally, well, this list was like a 7,000 keywords, and now that we excluded the ones that they are paying for, we are left with 6,000 keywords. So the next logical step would be to eliminate the ones that have no search volume data at all. So we're going to go ahead and exclude that just by deleting it from the list, because if there is no data about the search volumes, it means these keywords aren't super relevant yet, and you definitely don't want to target them. Then we're gonna go ahead and sort by search volume, largest to smallest, and then add filters again to exclude the sponsored ones. We might even go ahead and delete the sponsored ones, because they're just creating some confusion here in the list. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete those, and we're gonna go ahead and now see what the list is remaining. 4,900 keywords to look at. Basically, there's a lot of search volume in here, a lot of garbage. You have to go through it, but you can eliminate, shorten this list by search volume. Obviously, these ones that have the most search volume, they're not going to be specifically long tail for your product. If you're selling ashwagandha, for example, then obviously CBDT is not your keyword to look at all. But somewhere in between, let's say search volume between 100 and 500 is your range, most likely in this case. and that's where you should focus. So try using filters to speed up this whole process. So for example, we're gonna filter out just the keywords that contain ashwagandha in them. And then here you can see, for example, there are a lot of competitor names here. Ashwagandha for dogs. You can find not only good keywords to target here, but also good product ideas for yourself. Maybe like organic extract, etc. So what you need to do is go through this list, and you will see that there aren't a lot of these organic keywords that they are ranking for that they are necessarily paying for, but it's definitely worthwhile going through this list and trying to dig out some of them, because all of these search volumes, for example, from this list that contain ashwagandha are pretty relevant. So if you're able to dig out 2 or 3 keywords from this list and dominate them, they'll be super cheap for you, because not a lot of competitors are bidding on them. This might sound like a lot in the competing products column, but this is only because it's such a crazy competitive category in general. So cerebral organic keywords, that's one of the ways in which you could find cheap long-tail keywords for your brand. The second way is through using magnet tool. Like last week I just described that there's a magnet tool that you could use, and very often if you enter a seed keyword in the magnet tool, like for example ashwagandha capsules, or let's say this was a colon cleanse product that I did the research for a long time ago, and I found that there is a lot of Spanish keywords actually that have some substantial good search volume to cover. So that's like a 1% of market share that's also overlooked most of the time. So when they type in, for example, bajar de peso means lose weight in Spanish. So if they type in bajar de peso and they find English results, they're still going to click on them, of course. But you will find that a lot less competition is bidding on these Spanish keywords. We have tested this, and it has brought us pretty cheap ACOS, so it's something to look at. So for example, in this keyword research here for the colon cleanse product, which is an English product, of course, American product, we had a total search volume related to these Spanish terms of 26,000 searches per month collectively. So some of them are going to be relevant. You're going to kick them out of the list, of course. But if you can get like a search volume of 1,000 impressions per month, or even a couple of thousand per month, it will still be worthwhile because it's far less competition. Like you can see in this column of competing products, there are a lot of products that are below even 100 competing products in a category that's in a supplements category, which is always crazy competitive for some reason. So that's one of the ways how you can target additional market share without dealing with a lot of competition or paying expensive prices to take away the market share from your competitors. Also, there's this third way, but it's about using synonyms. And there's this pretty cool online free tool called Thesaurus. Everyone knows about it, obviously. What I mean by that is not only trying to, for example, if you're selling ashwagandha, not only trying to find synonyms for this product, you should do that. For example, ashwagandha specifically is also called Indian ginseng. It's also called the winter cherry. It has a couple of names. So it's not specifically a synonym, but maybe synonyms would make sense. Using them would make sense if you are targeting possible usage of the product. So for example, if someone is battling fatigue, low energy levels with ashwagandha supplement, you could look up for synonyms for fatigue to target, like weakness, maybe weariness, dullness. These are all good ideas. So you find good synonyms here. For example, lethargy maybe even is a good possible example. Inactivity, possibly. So here you will find couple of things that you could target that's basically saying the same thing with different words. That's another way in which you could dig out really good keywords to test that are long-tailed, that are aimed towards profitability without actually having to deal with a lot of competition either. It's more about when it comes to using, finding profitable keywords, they're almost always going to be profitable if there's less competition, because obviously if you have low competition, most probably low search volumes are also going to be involved. So you'll have a different type of problem, but not the kind of problem you solve with money. That's the thing about keyword profitability, meaning if you fight with a competitor around highly competitive keyword that has huge search volume, the only way you can deal with that is by paying and bidding more for that keyword. And if you don't have a lot of competition, then usually all these keywords that are, like substitute keywords, that are alternatives and synonyms, Spanish keywords, you don't have a lot of search volume, but basically almost no competition in them. So it's more like a challenge to do all this work in the first place, but it pays out in the long run, and you have to be very wide in catching all these terms and creative as well. But that's the thing, like if you do them all, you're most probably going to dominate them all. So that's the thing about synonyms. Try to play around with these things a little bit. Try to play around with different phrases, different ways in which someone could call your product, and you will be surprised what you can find. Use Thesaurus or any other tool that can help you out with the synonyms as well. Fourth type is the search terms report, which is like, it's something that's pretty obvious that everyone's using, most probably in a scenario where you only use broad match keywords in your ad groups, and then out of the search terms report, you extract the ones you no longer wish to target or wish to have any kind of traffic from, so you exclude them as negatives. And the search term report can also be used for digging out good long-tail keywords for your account. So for example, how do you know which keyword really needs to be excluded and which keyword should be added to your list of targeted keywords? Basically, we use profit margins for each specific ASIN as our way of determining what's the threshold. So for example, if you sell a product that costs $30, for example, and your profit margin is, let's say, about 30%, let's say $10, and your average click costs about 50 cents for that specific ASIN for a keyword that you're targeting. That means that you can practically allow up to 20 clicks that cost 50 cents until your profit margin is being completely eaten up by PPC. That means that if you have 20 clicks with no sales, you're not even breaking even, you're just losing money. So that's the kind of keyword you eliminate, unless you're pursuing ranking or pursuing organic ranking for this, or you're doing product launch, for example. But if you're just looking at profitability, that would be one of the ways how you eliminate keywords and add them to negatives. The same way is like everything that's like below your profit margin, like for example, you only spent $2 and made a sale, which makes what, like equals like 2% on that specific keyword, then you should be looking at velocity. Has this happened just like a random event, like one sale in the last 30 days, or this has happened maybe 3 or 4 times on that keyword? So if it's just a random event, just like one sale in the last 30 days, you probably shouldn't pay a lot of attention to that kind of search term. But if it happened a couple of times in the last 30 days, then that's maybe a good candidate to add to your keyword list, to your targeted keywords list, and start targeting it possibly in an exact match with higher bids. So keywords like these aren't basically very often. Like everywhere in business, the principle of 80-20 is almost applicable here, which means out of 20 keywords, if you have like 100 keywords, 20 out of 100 will be the ones to actually be worth looking at. They will have some clicks, they will have some data, they will have something to learn from, and the rest is just going to be some impressions, something random, you know. So with search terms report, try not to waste too much of your time. Just focus on the ones that you really see a trend going on. So that's the thing about the search terms report. Unfortunately, I don't have some examples here because they would basically be showing my clients real life data, which I can't really do. So, but I hope you understand the logic and the principle behind it, and feel free to ask me questions if you have some questions about specific method of extracting negatives and targeted keywords from the search terms report. I'll be happy to help you. The second thing, the fifth thing is the branded keywords. Why should you target your own brand's name on Amazon? Simply because everyone else is going to do that if you don't do that. Your brand, like for example, if you understand the whole Amazon marketplace landscape, they're trying really hard to create a branded presence for every single seller on Amazon. That's why they have created the storefronts. That's why they are allowing us all these different ad formats like sponsor brands to allow us to become, you know, like a store within their shopping mall. Basically, that's how it would be explained in an offline analogy. So what you want to do is give your brand keywords some exposure to make sure that your brand is growing with time, that your brand awareness is growing with time, regardless of whether you use sponsor brands ads or sponsor products ads. With these keywords, just make sure you use them and that they gain enough exposure. Some customers prefer to buy on Amazon, and even if they are your loyal customer and they like to find your brand and buy it, they will still not going to go to your e-commerce website. They're going to go to Amazon and type in your branded name because they want to buy from you specifically. And the reason for this is possibly the convenience that Amazon is giving them as customers. It's also, you know, the Prime membership perks that they receive, the transparency of being able to provide good feedback or bad feedback for you. You know, they're being more spoiled than ever, and Amazon is giving them this, so they're using this. So in case that they want to purchase something from you continually, they're going to type in your brand name on Amazon, and a lot of competitors know this, so as soon as they gather more budget, they start bidding on other competitors' brand names. And this is something we've seen really a lot throughout this whole coronavirus period, when a lot of advertisers backed out of their PPC. They just stopped doing PPC. There was like a whole vast empty space of demand that hasn't been fulfilled, that, you know, these bigger players took over by bidding on other brands' names, and they won this market share forever. So even if, you know, the whole category kind of like dropped because of the coronavirus, this was like the only campaign type you should have still let running, which is the branded campaign, to let your customers find you during crisis times, even during standard times. So definitely something you should be doing. Even if you don't have a lot of search volume, if you're a new brand, it will still make sense. Let them collect momentum with time. I think it will make a lot of sense. Same way that you target branded keywords, there's the sixth method of using competitors' keywords. So ideally, you'd be someone who tracks your competitors closely and their movements outside of Amazon as well. So when you notice that there's new product by a certain brand that's quickly gaining momentum, quickly gaining rank, fighting through ranks, it's been like a month that they have an upward trends with ranking, you should look them up on all these different websites like, for example, Slick Deals or Retail Me Not, Coupon Cabin, Best Buy, etc. There are a lot of these different coupons, promo codes, and discount websites that you should be on just by just in order to find your competitors. If they're doing some kind of discount price, they are driving a lot of external traffic, a lot of attention to their listing. So either you should target them either through basically through product targeting to show up on their product page, either through keyword targeting through competitors' brand name keywords, which means if your competitor is Pepsi, you should target Pepsi. If you're a cola, you have a Pepsi as your competitor, then you target Pepsi related keywords as your keywords. That's competitor keywords. So basically, why do you do this? What do you achieve by this? I think that you should invest a little bit more in gaining new to brand customers, because these customers, I mean, it only works if your targeted audience is, for sure that they're value shoppers. So you can discount your own product just for a temporary amount of time, discount your own product to provide even better offer, but you would drive these customers away from your competitor and introduce them to your own product by showing up on your competitors' product pages. It sounds a little complex and it sounds a little like a long shot, I know, but we have tested it. It hasn't brought us bad results at all. So it's something to see, maybe consider. Like, for example, that your competitors are big money to show up on these websites, to get listed on them. They're investing a lot of time, and they are driving external traffic to their own listing. They're investing all this effort to do that. So basically what you do is just get on that train and drive with them together. So that's the thing you would do, and basically without investing too much effort, aside from monitoring what they do with their listings, how recently they have launched something new, is a way for you to gain extra awareness for your own products by discounting them and targeting all these competitors that are doing some kind of external traffic efforts. Not a bad idea. Same way how you do this kind of competitive targeting, you could also do it through keyword competitive targeting, which usually for us, it brings lower conversion rates. Obviously, when someone is typing for a brand name, they're specifically looking for a specific brand, so it doesn't always necessarily has to work in terms of profitability. You only do it if you are looking for growth in your account, if you're looking to improve the amount of new to brand sales that come in through your door. So that's one of the competitive strategies. And the last thing I wanted to share with you today is the keyword planner. So Keyword Planner is a thing that you can have only if you have a Google account and you open up a Google Ads account. Basically, it's Google's a search engine, same like Amazon. So they also have a very, very vast database of keywords with their search volumes, with historical data about each keyword. And this is the place where we find a lot of good ideas to target on Amazon as well. We combine this method with using the Synonyms method and using Thesaurus. Basically, this is even better than Thesaurus in my opinion, because it gives you the whole the whole keyword universe. Like for example, based on one domain or one page that we gave Google crawled this page and gave us all the possible keyword ideas that could be related to this kind of product. So just to show you what I used this. There are two ways in which you could use Keyword Planner. Of course, by entering the seed keyword, similar to how Magnet works in Helium 10, and by entering a page to find keywords. This is very similar by starting with the website or a certain page. This is very similar to doing a reverse ASIN, except that Google has a much bigger pool, wider pool of keywords that they can offer you. So This is like a random product on Amazon, the chicken nesting pads. Funny product, I like it. So what you want to do here is enter a specific page of this product, and then you choose this option to use only this page. So coming from this page, we received 800 keyword ideas from Google that are necessarily related to this product and its ranking. So Helium 10 is going to give you only information from Amazon, which is one website on Google, and Google is going to give you tons of other ideas that have to do something with this product, with this specific topic in general when it comes to chicken coops, and when it comes to nesting boxes, when it comes to what else they gave us, chicken houses, laying boxes, bedding, all of that. So even if you don't find some good PPC keywords to target, you will find brilliant keywords, for example, to add them to your backend search terms, or brilliant keywords to give you ideas. What else could you sell in that specific niche, for product research as well? So we like to, from time to time, we like to have a look at what Google's thinking about our products when we do this kind of like, not a reverse ASIN, but like similar to like a reverse URL tool. It's a reverse URL tool. It's a very old method, and Google's obviously best at it because they have been doing it for over a decade now. So the eighth option would be combining all of these things into like going through them all, seeing what works for your account, testing, and eliminating the things that don't work, doubling down on the things that do, and finding the right formula for your own account. So these were my ideas. I hope it helps, and feel free to write some more ideas in the comment sections. I'll be happy to discuss them with you, and if you have any questions, more than happy to help. So thank you for listening, and I hope that we'll talk soon. Bye bye.